Donald F. Smith, Jr., Esquire. Private Attorney, Lever, Hyman and Potter. Board Member, MidPenn Legal Services. And James Kearney, Esquire, Director of Development, MidPenn Legal Services. Nominated by Rhodia Thomas, Executive Director, MidPenn Legal Services. Evelyn Sullivan, Executive Director, Lancaster Bar Association, and James Orgas, Managing Attorney, MidPenn Legal Services. Donald F. Smith, Jr. and James Kearney are helping to build bridges and relationships with traditional and non-traditional partners in local communities. Their work has resulted in dramatically increased support for MidPenn Legal Services, financial and otherwise. In 2002, Reading attorney Donald F. Smith, Jr. joined the MidPenn Board of Directors, and in 5 short years, Don has set a new standard in rallying support for the 18-county MidPenn program. A partner with the firm of Lever, Hyman and Potter, Don handles primarily automotive liability and workmen's compensation cases. Despite his heavy schedule, he spends a significant amount of his time and resources helping those in need. Don is a self-admitted bar junkie, and his resume includes a term as president of the Berks County Bar Association. In 2005, he received the Leroy Hyman Award for Outstanding Service to the Berks County Bar Association. But his efforts are not limited to Berks County. As chair of the MidPenn Development Committee, he embarked on a roadshow tour of MidPenn's 14 offices. Between September and December of 2006, Don arranged and personally sponsored breakfast, lunch, and dinner meetings with bar and community leaders and local MidPenn board members. The purpose was to open a dialogue with local bar associations and other potential MidPenn supporters. He asked for local input and suggestions on how the local legal aid office was doing business and provided information about the numbers and types of cases legal aid handled. Don would always follow up the meeting with a letter thanking those who attended and considered these guests as potential supporters of MidPenn Legal Services. Don has been instrumental in pursuing support from both traditional and non-traditional sources of funding. In 2004, he helped to establish a relationship with a Berks County corporation, the Georgie Mushroom Company. The company now contributes $15,000 to MidPenn in exchange for legal help to its Spanish-speaking employees. While working to grow funding for MidPenn, Don Smith soon found an ally in his efforts in Jim Kearney. Jim, fondly known as Chili, began his legal services career in 1970 as an intern at Dauphin County Legal Services. Upon graduation from Dickinson School of Law in 1972, Jim worked for Tri-County Legal Services in Lancaster, which became Central Pennsylvania Legal Services, now MidPenn. For 30-plus years, Jim expertly represented legal aid clients, helping them with such basic human needs as shelter, income, personal safety, and child custody. Recognizing that the bar is a vital ally for legal aid, Jim became more active in the Lancaster Bar Association, which supports legal aid both financially and through pro bono service. Eventually, in 2001, he served as its president, a rare accomplishment for a legal aid attorney. His involvement with the Bar Association benefited MidPenn Legal Services in many ways, including more media coverage of LBA's volunteer attorney program and an increase in pro bono participation. Based on the fantastic work Jim was doing locally for MidPenn in Lancaster, Executive Director Rhodia Thomas recruited him to join her administrative team and serve as Director of Development full-time. One of his biggest questions was, what is a Director of Development? When he realized Rhodia wanted him to do, in all areas of MidPenn's region, the type of development work he was already doing in Lancaster, he accepted the position. It takes a community to sustain a legal services office. It is incumbent upon us these days to have meaningful relationships with local bars, with a local judiciary, and with other supporters and funding sources. It's just as important for legal services organizations to be able to exercise diplomacy with local governments, local media, local legislators, and local businesses. And it is necessary to market ourselves in the communities in which we practice. For their efforts expanding access to justice throughout central Pennsylvania, Don Smith and Jim Kearney are presented with the 2007 Pennsylvania Legal Aid Network Excellence Award.